Military hardware, tanks and heavily armed personnel. Not what you'd normally expect to see on a stroll around town, you'd hope. Those pictures weren't taken in Syria, they weren't taken in Iraq, they were taken in southeastern Turkey. Ever more evidence is emerging online that Ankara is using its army to crack down on the mainly Kurdish region in what it describes as an anti-terror operation. These pictures, too, taken by local activists, actually show how the troops conduct their raids. Harun Ercan, who's currently in Turkey's southeastern city of Diyarbakir, says the situation is even graver than it looks.
The real situation is much worse than this. In many Kurdish towns and in Kurdish cities, right now we see Turkish military is conducting operations using kind of heavy artillery, using tanks in order to, let's say, distract those barricades. Because of the attacks by the Turkish armed forces, civilians, we kind of hear that civilians are being injured. Think about, Nusaybin, Cizre. In those areas, we saw that Turkish state made a call to teachers, to Turkish teachers especially, said that you should leave the conflict zone. Therefore, many of the Kurdish people over there who are right now under attack, they think that some kind of massacre can take place.
Tensions have been boiling over in recent months, with Kurdish civilians holding violent protests against a heavy police presence and curfews in the area. State media figures say 23 people have been killed in clashes in the last few days. Earlier this week, the Turkish Prime Minister promised even more operations in the area to prevent Kurdish militants from what he calls spreading fire from Syria and Iraq. The Kurdish troops, though, are known to be one of the most effective forces fighting terrorism. Harun Ercan again says Turkey's actions are actually hampering the fight against ISIL.
Thousands of Kurdish people, Kurdish youth, used to join into the fight against ISIS. And right now we see that these young people no longer they are able to go to fight against ISIS. They have to defend their neighborhood. In addition to this, PKK bases in northern Iraq, which are under the kind of constant airstrikes launched by Turkish military, so they can't also organize the fight against ISIS in Iraq as well as in kind of other parts of the Middle East. So on the axis of Kurdish question, it's so obvious that Turkey prevents the Kurdish liberation movement from fighting against ISIS in this way. It's so practically so obvious, and I don't believe that any counter arguments can falsify it.